fired Florida data scientist Rebekah Jones, claiming the state's numbers are not telling the whole story. So she launched her own coronavirus dashboard. Tonight, Jones claims that Florida has more positive COVID-19 cases than the Department of Health is reporting.
She is not the chief architect of our web portal.
Last month, Governor Ron DeSantis said Jones wasn't even a data scientist. Essentially, he said she was an insubordinate, underqualified troublemaker.
She was putting data on the portal, which the scientists didn't believe was valid data.
That I'm not a data scientist or the architect, well, I mean, I kind of just built the whole site again in like a day. So I think that speaks for itself.
I don't know the first thing about computers. If something's wrong with your computer, I'm liable to make it worse if you ask me to fix it.
I mean, I kind of just built the whole site again in like a day. So I think that speaks for itself.
Something's wrong with your computer, I'm liable to make it worse if you ask me to fix it. Being a statistician doesn't mean you know how to program computers. It means that you know how to analyze information.
She was the woman who claimed that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had retaliated against her for refusing to manipulate data about the number of COVID cases and deaths in the state. We reported on that story at the time, and we have some major corrections to make.
So there's a woman named Rebekah Jones. She's a scientist who created Florida's COVID-19 data portal. But she was removed from her position because she refused to manipulate the numbers of deaths due to coronavirus.
DeSantis got one of their data scientists fired because she was accurately reporting data regarding coronavirus cases and deaths. I didn't feel comfortable simply regurgitating her claims on this show until I had some form of corroborating evidence. Because she was accurately reporting data regarding coronavirus cases and deaths. So do I think that there's a pretty big possibility that they're suppressing numbers or at least manipulating numbers? Yes. I didn't feel comfortable simply regurgitating her claims on this show until I had some form of corroborating evidence. But that evidence never came.
Florida reopened and bragged about it, and now they're obviously indisputably hiding the numbers.
Indisputably hiding the numbers.
Now it's become increasingly clear that her version of events is not necessarily based in reality.
This is what Republicans do. They look up to authoritarian governments like China and North Korea.
I think we really need to call into question whether Rebekah Jones should be considered a whistleblower in the first place.
They're obviously hiding the real numbers. So what are the real numbers? No one knows.
Turns out that the narrative she pushed about being a brave data scientist who just wanted to get people accurate COVID numbers is not an open and shut case after all.
And God help you in Florida, because your governor is a liar, and his whole government is now covering up the real data on how bad it is.
In May of 2020, she was fired for what she claimed was her unwillingness to manipulate the state's raw COVID data so it would look like DeSantis urging the state to reopen was actually safe and reasonable.
Now, two states led by Republican governors who bragged about reopening early, both actively manipulating and hiding the number of cases and number of deaths in their states.
We bought this, I bought this. We reported exactly what she said, and now I have some degree of regret for doing that.
If you live in one of those states, God help you. You elect a Republican governor, period, God help you.
She made it seem as though Ron DeSantis ordered her home to be raided over her refusal to manipulate COVID data, when the fact of the matter was it had everything to do with her abuse of the state's emergency alert system. And so I want to correct all of those errors that we had previously reported.
And now they're obviously, indisputably hiding the numbers.
And I want to be clear that out of everyone who works on the main show, the only person who should be held responsible for that is me. I'm the executive producer of the show, and I screwed up royally. And part of the reason why I screwed up is because I had all these biases, of course, against Ron DeSantis.
We have an ideology, we're progressives, but we're not partisan.
I had all these biases, of course, against Ron DeSantis.
We're not partisan.
It becomes a problem when that bias blinds you to what the facts of various stories happen to be.
Because 9 out of 10 times they will lie to you as exactly as they're doing here. And all they care, look, I get it, they're politicians, all of them, all they care about is their own reputation more than anything else.
I should have done my due diligence. I failed to do so.
Republicans are clearly more brazen in their willingness to manipulate, to deceive, and to cover up the truth, as is clearly happening in Florida and Georgia.
And by failing to do so, I feel like I've misled the audience into thinking that Rebekah Jones is some sort of hero.
But she was removed from her position because she refused to manipulate the numbers of deaths due to coronavirus.
Fact of the matter is, I want to make sure that I correct my errors.
She also confirmed to CBS in Palm Beach that she was fired because she was ordered to censor some of that data and she refused to.
I want to make sure that I correct my errors, I get you guys accurate information, and I avoid helping someone who might be a grifter from fundraising off of our own audience members. But I wanted to give you guys those corrections. I do apologize for those mistakes, and I will do better moving forward.
You niggers are why I lost my job.
But am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage. I don't care. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're fucking dumb. You can call me a social justice warrior. You can call me whatever the fuck you want. At this point, I don't give a shit. I don't care. That's it. That's who I am, and it is what it is. I'd rather be a social justice warrior than a piece of fucking shit.
And I will do better moving forward.